On number 3 on our math workshop, make sure you're looking down at the bottom at number 3. Number 3 is a little bit tricky. I would really recommend drawing this out. Now remember, if I show work, you do need to make sure you have work on your paper. So number 3 says, which of the following is not? That's really important. The first time I read this, I skipped over the word not. Not is really important. So it's not a step in finding the area of a right isosceles triangle. So it's a right triangle. It's also isosceles. What does the word isosceles mean, Dylan?
Have 2 equal sides.
2 equal sides if the base is 3 feet. So guys, the only way that I can draw a right isosceles triangle, well, I'm going to draw my right angle first. Now on a right isosceles, these 2 lines have to be the same because isosceles means they are matching. And the reason they have to be the same here is because when I draw that line connecting them, that line is called the hypotenuse. You should be writing this down, Taylor. If you don't have a pencil, you need to put your backpack over here and pick one up off my desk. So that long line, the diagonal, the slanted one, is the hypotenuse, and it's going to be longer. So this slanted line can't match my other 2. Are y'all okay with that? So these 2 have to be the same. Are we okay with that? All right. So here's my picture by the computer. It says, for choice A, use the formula A equals 1/2 BH. Is that the correct formula for a triangle? A equals 1/2 BH? Okay. It actually is. I know we did BH divided by 2. But guys, 1/2 is the exact same thing as, look, dividing by 2. Do y'all see my dividing by 2 right there? That's where I get it from, is 1/2 in front. So this is actually correct. I know we did BH divided by 2 because honestly that's easier than dealing with a fraction. But a 1/2 in front is the same. Are we okay with that? All right. And substitute B for H. Now that sounds a little different, doesn't it? Resulting in A equals 1/2 B to the second power. Have we ever substituted B for H before? No. But guys, have we ever had the same base and the same height before? On a triangle. Not on a triangle. On like a square, yeah, sure. But on a triangle, we haven't. So guys, I want us to think about this triangle real quick. If this bottom line is B, let's say my bottom line, let's say that base was 7. If the base was 7, what would my height be? 7, because it's isosceles, they're matching, right? If my base was 29, what would my height be? 29. So would you agree if my base is B, my height I could also label as B because they're the same? I can only do this because it's an isosceles. So, can I substitute B for H if they're the same? Yes. And instead of BH, now it's going to say B times B. How would I write B times B? B to the second power. So is A true or false? It is true. A is true. All right. Let's look at B. B says substitute 3 for the base in the formula. Well, it says the base is 3. So would I substitute 3 for the base? Yeah, so is B true or false? True. All right. C says multiply 3 by 2. That 2 is on the bottom. So am I going to multiply by the 2? If the 2 is in the bottom, what should I be doing? Willie? Dividing. So am I going to multiply 3 by 2? No. So this one should be the one that is not true. Let's check D, though, just in case. It said divide the result of 3 to the second power by 2. Now remember, if my base is 3, that means I'm doing 3 times 3, right? Because the height is also 3. 3 times 3, would that be 3 to the second power? Yep, 3 to the second power. And am I going to divide my base times height by 2? Yes. So that's going to be true as well. All right, I don't know what's happening right here, but I need it to stop. Okay. All right, I want us to flip over and look at 4. Now 4 is really easy, especially compared to that one. Number 3 was tricky, guys. Are you sure we don't have any questions about 3? Okay. Number 4 says to evaluate. Guys, got to have some work on here. I know you can use your calculator, but you got to show me those steps in order. What am I going to do first, Dylan? The exponent. So inside the parentheses, before we add, we've got to do 4 to the third, which is going to be what, Dylan? All right, so I'm going to write 64. It's still in parentheses with the plus 5 times 2. All right, and now what am I going to do next? Alexandra? Parentheses, 64 plus 5? 69 times 2. And then my last step, what am I going to do, Emma? And what do we get? 138. All right, again, make sure you have work shown. Please make sure you have work shown. All right, guys, I want you to get out your homework and a grading utensil. Please keep your homework in front of you. I'm going to allow you to grade your own. Remember, showing that honesty and integrity in grading our own. So get out your homework and a grading utensil. All right, if you will, please make sure that you have your table of contents filled out. Our notes for today that are going out are number 23. So you can number these 23. Notes are number 23. Make sure you're filling those in. All right. Number 23. Make sure you number your notes number 23. Make sure you put your name on them. All right. Vocabulary today, we're talking about a unit rate. Yesterday we talked about a rate. Now remember, a rate is basically a ratio, but you have to include your unit, which is another word for measurement. So basically a ratio is a rate, but you have to include the measurement. You have to include what you're talking about, okay? So for a unit rate is a rate, obviously, because it says rate, that is simplified so the denominator is 1. So unit rate just means, hey, it's a rate, we're going to have our measurement, but unit rate means, okay, I've got my measurement, but I also need my denominator, my bottom number, to be a 1. That's really the only thing that's different about this. All right. We're going to look at these first set of examples. Now, when you do your homework tonight, it is in the textbook. So did anyone notice in your textbook where it said, like, example 1, and you did them all like example 1 in the notes? Then it would say example 2 out to the side, and you would do them all like example 2. All right? We're going to kind of label that like this. So for these first ones, this will be example 1. So that means in your homework tonight, if it says that these are example 1, you know where to look in your notes, okay? We're going to set them up like we're going to do number 1 right now. All right, so we've already said a rate is a...
rate that is simplified.
A rate is a... It's a ratio. That's it. The end. It's a ratio. Yes, it's a ratio with measurements, but most importantly, a rate is just a special ratio. So for number 1, we should be able to set that up. What am I going to put on top? 44. And what am I going to put on bottom? 4. Now, guys, have we done anything differently? No. Here's the important thing, guys. If it's a unit rate, since that rate has to have the measurement, at the end, in our fraction, we also want to write down what the measurement is, so what it's talking about, okay? But let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do the next step first. All right? Like Miss Willis and Miss Donahue, I think they make their students write the word every single time. I'm okay with us just putting the word in our answer. All right? But you have to remember to put that word there. Okay. So, guys, it says for a unit rate up in this directions, it says the denominator is 1. Guys, right now, what number is on the denominator? 4. So if I need to get that to be a 1, what am I going to have to divide by? Logan? 4. So I'm going to divide by 4. If I do it on the bottom, I have to do it on the top. Why am I dividing by 4? Tanner?
Make the denominator 1.
To make the bottom number 1. All right, so now on the top it says 44 divided by 4, which is 11. And on the bottom, 4 divided by 4 is 1. I have my 1 on the bottom. That's what I want, right? All right, since it's a unit rate, I do want us, since we're talking about that rate, I want us to put in our measurement. What is the top number talking about? Point. So I'm just going to write the word points next to it. And what is the bottom number talking about? Quarters. So that's not like quarters as in money. That's like quarters as in when you watch like a basketball game or when you watch a football game. Okay? All right. So we have 11 points and over 1 quarter. So there's my fraction. So again, the only difference here is I have the measurement with it. Are y'all okay with that? All right. We also want to write out a little explanation for what that means. Okay. Any idea? Dylan? In 1 quarter, you score 11 points. So the way that I'm going to word that, guys, is just 11 points per quarter. Because the quarter is only happening once, right? So that's why I can use the word per, because that means it's going to happen every single quarter. So guys, that word per, I want you to kind of like underline it. You're going to see that in every single one of your answers today. Okay? And I want us to circle that. I should have put 11 points, right? Points. So you have your answer and then your little explanation. So the good thing is, I know we're having to write the word in our answer, but our explanations are a little shorter, aren't they? So that's like, yeah, like bad side, we have to write the word. Good side, it's a shorter explanation. All right, number 2. Who thinks they can set up number 2 for me? Chandler. 125 over 5. All right, now what do I need to do? So we got it set up. Now what do I need to do? What do you think, Diesel? Divide by 5. Why am I dividing by 5 here? Why am I dividing by 5 here? Mateo? To make the bottom number 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Guys, am I dividing by 5 because it'll go into both of them? No. In fact, guys, sometimes you're going to get some decimals on these, and that's okay, as long as you divide by whatever is on the bottom. So now, go ahead, Luke. What do I get as my fraction, Madison? What do I get as my fraction, Chandler? What do I get as my fraction, Locke? 25 over 1. If you're holding up your calculator, I'm thinking that you're typing it in. If I call you, and that's not what you're using your calculator for, we're obviously doing something else. All right, what else do I need to do now? Before I circle that answer, what do I need to do? Tanner?
You have to write the word next to it.
Okay, so 25 is talking about?
Feet.
And 1 is talking about?
Seconds.
Seconds. So all I'm doing is I'm writing in the word since it is a rate. Are we okay with that? Yes, Jacob, question? Can you wait until we finish because we only have 4 more problems. Okay. Can you give me my sentence there real quick that goes with that?
In 1 second.
Look at how we did the other one.
25 feet
Mm-hmm.
per second.
25 feet per second. All right. And the reason that I like this, 25 feet per, sorry, I can't talk and write. The reason that I like writing it like this is that's a lot shorter than what you were going to tell me, isn't it, Jacob? So it just keeps it short, it keeps it straightforward, and that's how you would really word that in real life. Like, hey, you're going 25 feet per second. All right? Yes?
Should the S on seconds really be necessary if it's only 1?
No, it shouldn't. All right. Number 3, set up number 3 for me, Aaron. 9 over 3. What am I going to divide by here, Grace? 3. Why? Because the bottom number has to be 1, and my bottom number here is 3. Guys, these are even easier, because last night you had to think of what to divide by, right? Do you have to think about what to divide by? No, it's whatever's on the bottom. All right, so what do I get as my answer here, Hannah? 3 over 1, and what has to go with that? Dollars, because guys, think about it. 9 is talking about dollars, right? So my 3 is talking about dollars. This is where, now Miss Willis and Miss Donna, who kind of have a point here. If I'd written my 9 with the dollar sign by it, would it have been easier to know to put dollar sign by the 3? Probably so. If you think it's helpful to write it in the whole way, you can. All right, and then my 3 is talking about cases of soda, so my 1 is talking about cases of soda. I don't know what it is about the word soda. It makes me want to say it funny. All right, how am I going to word that explanation? Word that out for me. Willie, how am I going to write that? $3 per, and if it's saying per case of soda, is that the same as per 1 case of soda? Yeah, so we can just write per case of soda. All right, and again, you'll see I'm using that per every time because that's going to be that 1. All right, 24, set it up for me, Jenny. 24 over 2. What am I dividing by here, Taylor? On number 4, what am I dividing by? 2, because? Why? Bottom number is 2. We want it to be 1. Divide by 2. So that gives me, as my answer, what do I get, Taylor? On top? 12 over 1. Perfect. All right, up 12, what? What do I have to put with that? Y'all can tell. I almost like circled my answer. I had to stop myself. What needs to go with that still, Taylor Robertson? Meters. And 1, and then second. And be careful because on the bottom we just need a singular second, unlike what I was writing earlier. All right, give me my sentence to go with that. Kelly, what do you think? 12 meters per second. Perfect. These sentences are even easier than yesterday, aren't they? 12 meters per second. Okay. All right, so there we go. Do you notice how 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're real simple. They all kind of look the same. Number 5 looks a little bit longer, doesn't it? So guess what? Number 5 is going to be example 2. So on your homework again, when it says example 2, you know to look at problem number 5. For Carolina's birthday, her mom took her and a friend to a water park. Caroline's mom paid $40 for 5 student tickets. Why did she buy 5 student tickets? Because it's her and 4 friends, right? So that's already factored in here. Do y'all agree with that? Okay. So we have $40 for 5 student tickets. That's important. What was the price for 1 student ticket? Do y'all see where it's saying 1 student ticket? If I need 1 student ticket, where do those tickets have to go? Where does my 1 need to be? On the top or on the bottom? On the bottom. So are y'all okay with the fact that my student tickets have to go on the bottom? So I know that I have my student tickets, which is 5, and it's got to go on the bottom because I want that to change to a 1. Are y'all okay with that? If I'm changing it to 1, that's how I decide what goes on the bottom. Does that make sense? So what's going to go on the top? 40. Because that 40 and 5 are together. You'll see where those are together? Okay, what am I going to divide by here, Taylor? 5. And what do I get as my answer now? 8 over 1. And what is the 8 talking about? $8. And the 1 is talking about? Tickets. And make sure we write student tickets. Because it was very particular about those tickets, wasn't it? Student tickets. It didn't say tickets, so we're not going to write just tickets. So there's my fraction. What am I going to write for my explanation? Dylan? $8 per student ticket. Luke?
You put an S where the 1 is again.
I don't know why I want to put those S's so much. Okay? Good job. All right. Number 6. Example 3. Number 6 is example 3. And I want you to put a little star here. If it's hard, if it's a hard problem, it's probably example 3. Okay? So here's our challenge. Because y'all agree, so far this has been way easy, right? Like super easy. Okay. So number 6, now we got to have a little bit of a challenge. All right? So this says Walnut Middle School uses 12 gallons of water per student each day. What word did y'all just see? Per. Does that sound like what we were just doing? Yeah. When it says 12 gallons of water per student, this is called a unit rate, which means it's giving us the answer, and then we're going to have to create the other part. All right? So to find the answer, we divided, right? If I'm given the answer, what's the opposite? I'm going to have to multiply. Okay? So let's keep going. So I have 12 gallons of water per student. Are we okay with that? Then it says, there are 450 students. How many gallons are used each day at Walnut Middle School? So let's start by writing our unit rate. What does it say for our unit rate? 12. And I'm going to go ahead and write gallons next to that because that's in our unit rate, right? 12 gallons over 1 student. Now, what does it want me to change? It wants me to change my students to 450. Do y'all agree with that? So how could I do that? How could I do that, Luke?
You could multiply 1 by 450 and 12 by 450.
Excellent. So if I'm wanting to change that to 450, remember, instead of dividing, it gives us the answer, so we're going to do the opposite, which means to multiply. And if I multiply on the bottom by 450, that gives me 450 students, so I can actually write my S, students. And if I do it on the bottom, Chandler? If I do it on the bottom, Kelly? We have to do it on the top, and then yes, Chandler, I get that answer that you just told me. But guys, do y'all see why I'm multiplying on the top as well? And what was that answer, Chandler? 5,500. 5,400. Y'all double checking this? I'm getting 2 answers. Yes? Okay, 5,400. Okay. 5,400 gallons. Okay? So there's my fraction. Any idea on how I'm going to write that out as a sentence? Dylan? That's fine. Go ahead. 450 students. Could I say just use? 450 students use 5,400 gallons of what? Of water. And then it said how many gallons are used each day, so we're going to make sure we include each day. Okay?
That's a lot of gallons of water in a year.
I'm not sure. All right. So, guys, on the homework, it says page 160 to 161, 7 through 20. All right. So on our homework, where are you going to look when you get home? Where are you going to find that, Logan?
On the math book.
In the math book, guys. You have to use that orange math book. I'm not going to say how many people have come in today and said, I couldn't do my homework because I didn't have the worksheet. And I looked at them a little bit like they were crazy. Because remember, this isn't a worksheet. This is in your textbook at home, okay? Now, I have a worksheet because I don't have enough textbooks for y'all. Miss Willis has a set. Miss Donahue has a set. There was not enough for me. So I just told them, that's fine. I'll take a hit. I'll make copies to use in class, okay? Logan.
I was back to grade.
All right, I'm passing out the worksheet real quick. Guys, I have enough for the class. Remember, at the end of class, I need these passed up to the front. So I'm passing out the worksheet. You can work this on your own paper. Yes. At the end of class, guys, when I tell you to pack up, before you pass it up, I'll let you take a picture for warrior time. Huh? No, please do it on your own paper. All right? So setting up your paper, working this out on your own paper.
Miss Lawyer. For warrior time, could we just come in here and do a worksheet?
If 100 students come in and get a copy, I won't have copies.
Exactly. What if I come here before the other 100 students? Yeah.
Guys, it would be best if you could take a picture. If I have copies, I'll let you use them. If I don't know. One more. I know, because I'm trying to get up there and set up the first problem, but it's not working out for me. All right, guys, sorry. I was trying to get up here to set up that first problem with you real quick. What I've noticed, guys, on your homework, y'all are just like starting your numbering. Please, at the top of your paper, write down what this is. So this is page 160 to 161, numbers 7 through 20. Please make sure you're writing that down, or else when you're looking back through your homework and stuff, you don't know what assignment it is. All right? And then we're going to start at number 7, so I'm numbering number 7. I wanted to set this one up with you because it looks a little weird and it's kind of freaks some people out. What number is going to go on top for number 7? Tanner?
40.8.
40.8. And what's going to go on the bottom?
8.
8. All right. So, guys, on this problem, I have a decimal. It looks weird. What am I going to divide by automatically, Abby?
8.
8. Why?
Because the bottom number is 8.
Bottom number is 8, so that's what we're going to divide by. And this is where your calculator is going to come in handy. In fact, I think this is probably the only problem we might need our calculator on, except for maybe some large numbers. What do I get when I do 40.8 divided by 8? Lock? 5.1 over 1. And we do need that 1 on the bottom. What am I going to write with my top number? Tanner? Gallons. And with the bottom? Container. And you did what I did. We don't got to put an S. If you put it, it's not a big deal. I'm not going to be mad, okay? Obviously, I have trouble with that. So I got 5.1 gallons over 1 container. How am I going to write my sentence that goes with that? Taylor? 5.1 gallons per container. All right. So that should get you set up on those first ones, setting them up. Guys, make sure you write your sentence. All right, make sure you write your words with your fraction and your sentence, okay?